Hi, today I'd like to show you how we've made our bedroom as radiation free as possible. Now the radiation that I'm talking about, there are three types. One is the low frequency, which is in the wiring of a house. The second is high frequency, and that comes through the air, and that may be from mobile phones, mobile phone masts, Wi-Fi, routers and so on. And then the third type is geopathic stress, which is earth energy. So I'm going to start with low frequency in the wiring, and the place to start is the fuse box. And if you look at our fuse box over here, underneath the fuse box we've got two what are called demand switches, and they control the lighting circuits. There's one for each lighting circuit, and the way they work is when you switch off a light, or the final light in the circuit, that demand switch cuts all the power to that circuit. If you have a look at the side of the fuse box, we've got two lights here. These are indicator lights, and each one of those is connected to one of the lighting circuits. And the way they work, when we switch a light on, and I'll just switch on the hall light, the indicator light there lights up, and that indicates that that circuit is live and there's power in that circuit. So when we switch the light off, and the last light in the circuit is switched off, if you look at the light, it takes a few seconds, but then the light will go off. There we are, and that means now that the power to that circuit has been cut. The other thing I want you to look at is this switch here, which was put in by our electrician, and when we go to bed we flick this switch in the off position, and what that switch does, it turns off all the sockets in the house, all the electrical sockets, other than the circuit that has the boiler on, the fridge freezer, and the alarm system. Obviously we need those on at night, but by switching that and with the demand switches, we cut most of the power off at night. So here we are in the bedroom, and the first thing I'd like to show you is the bedside light, which we have put onto the lighting circuit, so that when we come to bed my wife can use the light to read in bed, and then when she's finished reading, if she switches it off here, then that cuts all the power to the lighting circuit. In this room we painted all the walls, the ceiling, the skirting board and all the doors with T98 alpha paint, and we earthed the paint to the radiator and to the electrical earth behind one of the sockets. On the floor we have put GPA mesh under the carpet, and again that was earthed, the mesh was earthed to the radiator and to the electrical earth. Now the point about both of those things are that they stop high frequency radiation and any residual low frequency. Now if we have a look at the blinds, behind the blinds we've got Nova fabric, and that Nova fabric stops the high frequency coming in through the window when the blind is drawn. So what I'd like to do now is take some readings of high and low frequency just to see how effective this has been. Now what I'm going to show you is we're going to take the readings, low frequency readings from my wife laying in the bed. Now before we did what I've shown you, before we reduced the low frequency, the readings we were getting were 1300 volts per meter. So now I've switched the switch off downstairs that I showed you, and now we'll go and we'll take the readings now, and the reading is actually 0 volts per meter, so that's absolutely phenomenal result. If I hold the high frequency meter out of the window, as you can see the readings are about 490, 480, 490. And then if we move now into the room, it drops off quite dramatically to 60, well 100 or so. If we come further into the room, it drops even further to about 60, 37 there. So that is a result of the paint that we've put on the walls. But if we now close the curtains, or close the blinds, so now with the curtains drawn, it's around the 18, 19, about the 20 mark, which is a far, far better reading for when you're asleep. So I hope that's given you an idea of how to create an almost radiation-free sleeping environment. If you'd like any further details, please contact me through my website or through the GeoVital website. Thank you for watching.